Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next hour. Air India AI Flight 171 Ahmedabad London Gatwick crashes in Gujarat's Meghani Nagar with 242 on board just after takeoff. Prime Minister Narendra Modi takes stock of the Air India crash. Home Minister Amit Shah and Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu reach the crash site in Ahmedabad. Tata Group to provide a 10 million rupee compensation to victims' families will also cover medical expenses of those injured. And British Prime Minister Keir Starmer turns down a request to meet Bangladesh's chief advisor Mohammad Yunus during his London visit. An Air India flight AI 171 Ahmedabad London Gatwick has crashed in Gujarat's Meghani Nagar. As per information received, there were 242 people on board. The 787 Dreamliner aircraft took off at 1:38 p.m. local time and crashed just 5 minutes after takeoff in a residential area. Prime Minister Narendra Modi personally spoke to the Minister of Civil Aviation Ram Mohan Naidu and took stock of the Air India flight crash incident in Ahmedabad. The Prime Minister has directed the Minister to ensure all necessary support is extended immediately and asked to be kept regularly updated on the situation. All relevant agencies are on high alert and coordinated efforts are underway. Home Minister Amit Shah has reached the crash site in Ahmedabad to take stock of the situation in a special plane. Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel, Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu, Minister of State for Civil Aviation Muralidhar Mohol and Gujarat Home Minister Harsh Sanghvi are also with Home Minister at the crash site. A short while ago, Home Minister Amit Shah visited the hospital and met the passengers who were injured in the plane crash. After meeting the injured in the hospital, Home Minister Amit Shah held an emergency meeting at the State Guest House. In that meeting, Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu, Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel, along with other state ministers and higher officials were present in that meeting. Home Minister Amit Shah addressed journalists following the Air India plane crash in Ahmedabad. He said that immediately after receiving news of the accident, the Home Department's control room, the Civil Aviation Ministry and the Gujarat government coordinated their efforts and launched rescue operations.
10 ही मिनटों में हादसे के भारत सरकार के पास सूचना पहुंची। तुरंत ही मैंने मुख्यमंत्री जी, यहाँ के गृह मंत्री, होम डिपार्टमेंट के कंट्रोल रूम, सिविल एविएशन डिपार्टमेंट, सिविल एविएशन मंत्री, सभी से संपर्क किया। प्रधानमंत्री जी का भी तुरंत ही फोन आ गया और भारत सरकार और गुजरात सरकार के सभी डिपार्टमेंट एक साथ होकर राहत और बचाव कार्य में लगे। एविएशन डिपार्टमेंट ने अपनी जांच शुरू कर दी है और जांच तेजी से आगे बढ़े, इसके लिए भी एविएशन मंत्री जी ने सूचनाएं दी है।
The Home Minister also mentioned one survivor from the crash who was on board the plane. He also announced that the process of DNA sampling is underway.
इस विमान में कुल मिलाकर 230 यात्री देश के और विदेश के और 12 क्रू मेंबर सवार थे। इसमें से एक यात्री का बचने का अच्छा समाचार मिला है। मैं उनको मिलकर आया हूं। मैं घटना स्थान पर भी जाकर आया हूं। सारे यात्रियों के मृतदेह को बाहर निकालने का काम लगभग समाप्त हो चुका है। जितने यात्रियों के परिजन यहाँ पहुँच चुके हैं वो सबका डीएनए लेने की कार्यवाही भी 2-3 घंटों में समाप्त हो जाएगी। विदेश में जिनके परिजन हैं उनको सूचना देने की कार्यवाही समाप्त हो चुकी है और जैसे ही पहुंचते हैं उनके भी डीएनए सैंपल लिए जाएंगे और मृतदेहों की पहचान के लिए जितने मृतदेह मिले हैं इनके भी डीएनए सैंपल लेने की कार्यवाही समाप्त हो चुकी है। गुजरात में ही लगभग 1000 के आसपास डीएनए टेस्ट करने पड़ेंगे। ये सभी टेस्ट करने की क्षमता गुजरात में विकसित है, तो डीएनए टेस्टिंग के लिए कहीं गुजरात के बाहर जाने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी।
Earlier, Minister of Civil Aviation Ram Mohan Naidu Kinjarapu took stock of the situation at the Air India plane crash site. He reviewed the ongoing rescue and relief operations and coordinating with officials from the DGCA, the AAI, Air India and the NDRF and local administration to ensure all necessary support is being provided. An operational control room has been activated at the Ministry of Civil Aviation to coordinate all details. The contact details are as follows. The numbers are 011 2461 0843. I repeat, 011 2461 0843 and another number 96503 91859. I repeat, 96503 91859.
I'm totally shaken by the incident that has happened today near Ahmedabad airport. Very tragic and very horrific. And even till now, I have to say I'm in a state of shock. When the event happened, I was in Vijayawada doing the review of that airport and attending one state program. But the moment I got to know this incident happened, I wanted to be here physically at the site, try to find out more about what happened and what needs to be done. And also Honorable PM has called me and also told me to be there at the site and also look into the operations which is going on right now. And right now, if you ask me, I can only think about the passengers, their families, what they might be going through, and especially the civilians also who are there near the crash site. A lot of relief effort has been done already, right from Indian Army, NDRF, state police, medical departments, including aviation concerned departments. Everyone has attended immediately. The fire department, to the best of their abilities, they have been functioning here and doing the rescue operations. And we still have to find out the numbers. I don't want to put any wrong numbers to you, so we still have to go through the numbers. And my condolences, my prayers, my thoughts with the families of the bereaved. And we are trying to extend all the help that can be done. I'm just thinking about the families and the passengers who are there. It's a great loss.
President Draupadi Murmu has posted a message on social media platform X. She said, and I quote her here, "The loss of lives after the plane crash at Ahmedabad is utterly devastating. My heart goes out to the bereaved families. The country has also lost the former Chief Minister of Gujarat, Vijay Rupani ji, in the tragedy. Rupani ji was always committed to people's welfare. I express my heartfelt condolences to his family and admirers," unquote. Following the Air India Boeing 787 Dreamliner crash near Ahmedabad, the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau has dispatched its investigation team, including the Director General, to Ahmedabad. They are tasked with investigating the cause of the crash. The UK AAIB will have expert status in the Indian safety investigation. This is in accordance with the ICAO Annex 13 because the UK citizens were on board the aircraft. The government of the UK said that they are deploying a multidisciplinary investigation team to India to support the Indian-led investigation. Air India's MD and CEO Campbell Wilson said that additional team from an Air India is on its way to Ahmedabad to assist the team on the ground.
Air India flight AI 171 operated with a Boeing 787-8 aircraft traveling from Ahmedabad to London Gatwick has been involved in an accident after takeoff. Flight AI 171 was carrying 230 passengers and 12 crew members on board. Of the passengers, 169 are Indian nationals, 53 are British nationals, there are 7 Portuguese nationals, and 1 Canadian national. The injured passengers have been taken by local authorities to the nearest hospitals. We are actively working with the authorities on all emergency response efforts. A special team of caregivers from Air India is on their way to Ahmedabad to provide additional support.
Tata Sons chairperson N. Chandrasekharan has extended his support. In a statement, he said, "We are deeply anguished by the tragic event involving Air India Flight 171. Tata Group will provide 1 crore rupees to the families of each person who has lost their life in this tragedy. We will also cover the medical expenses of those injured and ensure that they receive all necessary care and support. Additionally, we'll provide support in the building up of the BJ Medicals Hostel." Gujarat's Additional Chief Secretary Dhananjay Dwivedi confirmed that there were 230 passengers on board along with the crew members. The crash site includes Ahmedabad Civil Hospital's Students' Hostel, staff quarters and nearby residential areas.
एयर इंडिया 171 फ्लाइट में अहमदाबाद से लंदन जाने के लिए 230 पैसेंजर की बुकिंग थी। उसके सिवाय क्रू मेंबर भी थे। दुर्भाग्यपूर्वक दोपहर के 1:40 बजे के आसपास प्लेन टेक ऑफ होने के साथ ही दुर्घटनाग्रस्त बना। जिस विस्तार में प्लेन क्रैश होकर गिरा है वहां पे अहमदाबाद सिविल हॉस्पिटल के विद्यार्थियों के हॉस्टल, स्टाफ क्वार्टर और अन्य रेजिडेंशियल विस्तार है। उस विस्तार के लोगों को भी ईजा पहुंची है। 50 जितने घायल व्यक्तियों को सिविल हॉस्पिटल अहमदाबाद लाया गया है, जिन्हें श्रेष्ठ सारवार दी जा रही है। अभी वो सघन सारवार में परंतु स्टेबल परिस्थिति में है।
He also said that DNA testing arrangements have been made for swift identification of victims. Families, especially parents and children of those on board, are urged to submit their DNA samples at the designated site.
फ्लाइट के जो पैसेंजर हैं, उनके जो सगे हैं, नजदीक के सगे हैं, उनसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि डीएनए टेस्टिंग की व्यवस्था हम लोगों ने बीजे मेडिकल कॉलेज के कसौटी भवन में की है। आप सबसे अनुरोध है, जिसमें खास तौर पे माता पिता अथवा उनके पुत्र पुत्री नजदीक के सगाओं में होते हैं, आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप डीएनए सैंपल के लिए कसौटी भवन में बनी हुई व्यवस्था पर अपने सैंपल दें, ताकि दुर्घटना के जो विक्टिम है उनका आइडेंटिफिकेशन जल्दी से हो सके। प्लेन के जो मुसाफिर हैं, उनके रिलेटिव और बाकी जो ईजा होके घायल होके सिविल हॉस्पिटल आए हैं, उनके सगे संबंधियों को अगर किसी भी तरह की पूछताछ करनी है, ज़्यादा माहिती की जरूरत है, तो उसके लिए सिविल हॉस्पिटल अहमदाबाद ने 2 हेल्पलाइन नंबर शुरू किए हैं। एक नंबर है 63 57 37 38 31 एवं दूसरा नंबर है 63 57 37 38 41। इन 2 नंबर पे आप माहिती के लिए संपर्क कर सकते हैं।
Still to come on DD India News Hour. Condolences pour in from across the world. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer calls the Ahmedabad crash devastating. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney also expresses grief. The EU flag in India lowered to half-mast in memory and respect of all those killed in Ahmedabad's plane tragedy.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you.
Exactly what save your.
You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Let's now again play out the full bite of Home Minister Amit Shah earlier when he briefed media persons on the actions taken by the government in the aftermath of the plane tragedy. Take a listen.
आज दोपहर को एयर इंडिया की फ्लाइट संख्या AI 171 दुर्घटनाग्रस्त हुई और कई पैसेंजर इसके अंदर हताहत होने की संभावनाएं हैं। इस घटना से पूरा देश क्षुब्ध है और पूरा देश एक साथ पूर्ण संवेदनाओं के साथ ये जो दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण हादसे में पैसेंजर हताहत हुए हैं, इनके परिजनों के साथ खड़ा है। सबसे पहले मैं भारत सरकार, गुजरात सरकार, भारत सरकार के प्रधानमंत्री जी और गुजरात सरकार की ओर से भी जो लोग हताहत हुए हैं, इनके परिजनों के प्रति गहरी संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं। 10 ही मिनटों में हादसे के भारत सरकार के पास सूचना पहुंची। तुरंत ही मैंने मुख्यमंत्री जी, यहाँ के गृह मंत्री, होम डिपार्टमेंट के कंट्रोल रूम, सिविल एविएशन डिपार्टमेंट, सिविल एविएशन मंत्री, सभी से संपर्क किया। प्रधानमंत्री जी का भी तुरंत ही फोन आ गया और भारत सरकार और गुजरात सरकार के सभी डिपार्टमेंट एक साथ होकर राहत और बचाव कार्य में लगे। इस विमान में कुल मिलाकर 230 यात्री देश के और विदेश के और 12 क्रू मेंबर सवार थे। इसमें से एक यात्री का बचने का अच्छा समाचार मिला है, मैं उनको मिलकर आया हूं। मृत्यु का आंकड़ा तो DNA परीक्षण और यात्रियों की पहचान के बाद ही अथॉरिटी अधिकृत रूप से घोषित करेगी, मगर जो यात्री बचा है उसको मैं मिलकर आया हूं। घटना के तुरंत बाद गुजरात सरकार ने बहुत त्वरा से डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट की सारी इकाइयों को अलर्ट करते हुए, चाहे हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट हो, चाहे फायर ब्रिगेड हो, चाहे पुलिस विभाग हो, भारत सरकार की भी सीएपीएफ को संपर्क कर सभी ने एक साथ मिलकर राहत और बचाव का कार्य चालू किया। मगर 1.25 लाख लीटर ईंधन विमान के अंदर ही था और लगभग गर्मी तापमान इतना ऊंचा हो गया कि किसी को बचाने की मौका ही नहीं मिला। अब मैं घटना स्थान पर भी जाकर आया हूं। सारे यात्रियों के मृतदेह को बाहर निकालने का काम लगभग समाप्त हो चुका है। जितने यात्रियों के परिजन यहाँ पहुँच चुके हैं वो सबका डीएनए लेने की कार्यवाही भी 2-3 घंटों में समाप्त हो जाएगी। विदेश में जिनके परिजन हैं उनको सूचना देने की कार्यवाही समाप्त हो चुकी है और जैसे ही पहुँचते हैं उनके भी डीएनए सैंपल लिए जाएंगे और मृतदेहों की पहचान के लिए जितने मृतदेह मिले हैं इनके भी डीएनए सैंपल लेने की कार्यवाही समाप्त हो चुकी है। गुजरात में ही लगभग 1000 के आसपास डीएनए टेस्ट करने पड़ेंगे। ये सभी टेस्ट करने की क्षमता गुजरात में विकसित है, तो डीएनए टेस्टिंग के लिए कहीं गुजरात के बाहर जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। गुजरात की एफएसएल और नेशनल फॉरेंसिक साइंस यूनिवर्सिटी दोनों मिलकर कम से कम समय में डीएनए का परीक्षण पूरा करने के बाद परिवारजनों को अपना परिजन का मृतदेह सौंपने का काम करेंगे। उनके रहने की सुविधा, उनकी सांत्वना की सुविधा, जिनको मेडिकल प्रॉब्लम ट्रॉमा के कारण हुए इनकी मेडिकल की सुविधा, ये सारी व्यवस्था बहुत सुचारू रूप से हो चुकी है। अभी रिव्यू मीटिंग में सारी व्यवस्थाओं को हम सब मंत्रियों ने साथ में मिलकर देखा है। एविएशन डिपार्टमेंट ने अपनी जांच शुरू कर दी है और जांच तेजी से आगे बढ़े इसके लिए भी एविएशन मंत्री जी ने सूचनाएं दी हैं। मैं फिर से एक बार राहत काम में जिन जिन एजेंसियों ने त्वरा के साथ बचाव और राहत का काम किया वो सभी का धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं और फिर से एक बार जिन्होंने अपने परिजनों को गंवाया है, हताहत हुए हैं, वो सभी को मनपूर्वक संवेदनाएं व्यक्त करता हूं। मैं एक बार जरूर कहना चाहता हूं कि ये एक्सीडेंट है, एक्सीडेंट को कोई रोक नहीं सकता, परंतु 365 दिन 24 घंटा इस तरह की घटना के लिए प्रशासन का जो अलर्टनेस है उसकी कसौटी उसी वक्त होती है जब ऐसी घटनाएं होती है। और आज गुजरात के डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट की तैयारियों का एक प्रकार से दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण तरीके से मगर कसौटी हुआ और बहुत त्वरा के साथ यहाँ पर काम किया गया, वो पूरे देश के मीडिया के सामने और परिजनों के सामने भी आया है। अंत में मैं फिर से एक बार सम्माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की ओर से, भारत सरकार और गुजरात सरकार की ओर से सभी हताहत लोगों के परिजनों के प्रति गहरी संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं।
US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has expressed his deepest condolences at the plane crash. On X, he said, and I quote, "Heartbroken to hear the news of a tragic plane crash in Ahmedabad, India. My prayers are with all who lost their loved ones in this horrible incident. We continue to monitor developments and stand with the emergency responders working to help those impacted, unquote. The British High Commission in India said that British nationals who require consular assistance or have concerns about friends or family can call on the number 020-7008-5000. I repeat, 020-7008-5000. It further said on X, and I quote, "We are aware that a flight from Ahmedabad to London has crashed near Ahmedabad airport. We are working with local authorities to urgently establish the facts and provide support. Our thoughts are with all those affected," unquote. And UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, receiving updates, expressed deep sorrow as well. His thoughts with the passengers and their families during this harrowing tragedy. Starmer wrote on X, and I quote, "The scenes emerging of a London-bound plane carrying many British nationals crashing in the Indian city of Ahmedabad are devastating. I am being kept updated as the situation develops, and my thoughts are with the passengers and their families at this deeply distressing time," unquote. Right, joining for more on this unfortunate tragedy is my colleague Amrit Palsi. Amrit, what more can you fill us in on the latest you are picking up?
The DGCA has begun their investigations. Right now, the focus is on, as the Home Minister was saying, identifying those who have lost their lives in this crash because they leave behind loved ones. Given the way the crash took place and, it became a fireball, it's expected that most of the bodies would have been charred beyond recognition. So right now they're connecting, trying to collect DNA samples and identify bodies. That's happening on the medical level. Of course, the DGCA has launched an investigation. They will do detailed investigation into what really went wrong and why the crash took place. But that reports of that will take a bit of time. As the Home Minister was saying, there is only one, there is a lone survivor. So he's met that. What we understand is that he tried to eject from the plane, but and was a lucky one who could escape. But the way the crash took place, and it erupted into a ball of fire, one can expect that there was absolutely or very little chance of the passengers surviving. As you've already stated, Ramesh, there are condolences pouring in from the world, around the world. The British are also sending a team of theirs to investigate as to what really happened. And also the local administration, I can tell you, is trying to make arrangements for the kith and kin who are rushing to know about their loved ones to the hospital. Those who are coming out of out of Ahmedabad, the local administration is trying to make arrangements for their stay, etc. So that's what's happening right now, Ramesh.
Also, very quickly, if you will, Amrit, we are told that the investigation is still a work in progress. The black boxes are still to be found. But that said, the survivors' testimony could prove crucial going forward, isn't it?
That's right. The survivor could tell, really that what was the buzz inside the aircraft. Though, I mean, to know where the technical failure actually happened is would emerge from once the black boxes, etc. are found. Because if you look at it, when it takes off from the runway, the nose is up. So when it's trying to take a flight and the incline, it keeps pushing down. So I do not wish to speculate, and I'm no expert at that, but it looks like some kind of an engine failure or some kind of a snag, because it just keeps trying to go up this but just it can't. In fact, when it goes and touches down and crashes into a building and erupts into a ball of fire, the nose is still up. The plane, once it takes off from the runway, crosses the boundary of the Ahmedabad International Airport. Right outside is a populated area, and clearly when it crashes into the building of the medical college, because it's still trying to take off and find an incline. So, but you know, as your question about the lone survivor can give a sense of what was the situation inside the plane at that time, because it crashes in no time after it takes off. So there would understandably be a situation of panic. Some probably don't realize what has happened, because you know, it is the pilot who would be making mayday calls with the ATC, and they would be trying to he would be trying to see what can be done. For the others who are seated inside, they do not have much choice. But he can say he can later reveal whether evacuation orders were given for people to evacuate. But it crashed so fast after it took off that one would have to wait and see in the inquiry details that emerge as to what actually transpired and led to this crash, Ramesh.
Indeed, as you report, Amrit, 241 passengers perished, but one miraculously survived and walked away from the crash site unscathed. He's recovering in a hospital as we speak. Amrit, we'll leave it there. Thank you. In other news, UK Foreign Minister David Lammy has said that he is deeply saddened by the India plane crash. He said that Britain has activated a crisis team in both New Delhi and London.
My thoughts, and I'm sure those of the entire House, are with those who've been affected by the tragic plane crash in India this morning. We know that British nationals were on board, and Mr. Speaker, I can confirm that the FCDO is working urgently with local authorities to support British nationals and their families, and has stood up a crisis team in both Delhi and in London.
Britain's King Charles said on Thursday that he was desperately shocked by the Air India plane crash in the western Indian city of Ahmedabad, with passengers including 53 Britons and 1 Canadian. In an official statement, the royal family said their special prayers and deepest possible sympathy are with the families and friends of all those affected by this appallingly tragic incident across so many nations. They also paid tributes to the heroic efforts of the emergency services and all those providing help and support at this most heartbreaking and traumatic time. The President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, also tweeted, and I quote her here. She said, "Heartbreaking news from India with the tragic plane crash in Ahmedabad. My deepest condolences to the families and loved ones grieving this terrible loss. We share your pain. Dear Narendra Modi, Europe stands in solidarity with you and the people of India in this moment of sorrow," unquote. The European Union's foreign policy chief, Kaja Kallas, has also expressed grief. She said that her thoughts are with the families of the passengers and crew and with all those affected by this tragedy. The delegation of the European Union to India has lowered its flag to half-mast in memory and respect of all citizens of countries who lost their lives in the tragic Ahmedabad plane crash. In a post, they have extended their condolences to the grieving families and to the people of India in this moment of shock and mourning. France's President Emmanuel Macron has also expressed grief over the tragedy, posting a message on X where he said, "We have learned with deep emotion of the tragic plane crash in Ahmedabad, India. In this time of sorrow, I extend our heartfelt thoughts to the victims' loved ones and to Prime Minister Narendra Modi," unquote. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney has also condoled the deaths. In a post on X, he said, "Devastated to learn of the crash of a London-bound Air India plane in Ahmedabad carrying 242 passengers, including 1 Canadian. My thoughts are with the loved ones of everyone on board. Canada's transportation officials are in close contact with counterparts, and I am receiving regular updates as the response to this tragedy unfolds." And joining them was Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof, who also extended condolences. In a post on X, he wrote, Horrific images from the city of Ahmedabad, India, where a passenger plane heading for London Gatwick Airport has crashed. I have expressed my condolences to India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. At this difficult time, my thoughts are with all the victims of this terrible disaster and with their loved ones. Sri Lanka's President Anurag Kumara Desanayake has condoled the deaths in the accident. In a post on X, he wrote, "Equally heartbreaking are the civilian casualties on the ground, including young medical students whose lives and futures were struck by this tragedy. At this moment of deep sorrow, the people of Sri Lanka stand in solidarity with India. Our thoughts and prayers are with everyone impacted." Unquote. Maldives' President Mohamed Muizzu also extended condolences to the families of all those affected on board. In a social media post on X, he wrote, "I express profound sadness at the tragic crash of Air India flight AI 171 near Ahmedabad. At this difficult time, the government and people of Maldives stand in solidarity with the people and government of India." Unquote. Nepal's President Ramchandra Paudel has expressed deep sorrow over the Air India plane crash that occurred in Ahmedabad on Thursday afternoon local time. Taking to social media, he said and conveyed his condolences over the tragic loss of lives in the incident where a UK-bound Air India flight crashed shortly after takeoff. Still to come on DD India News Hour. California will face off with the Trump government in court on Thursday over the deployment of US troops in Los Angeles.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you.
Remember to save your country.
You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Bangladesh's interim leader Mohamed Yunus faces a diplomatic setback as UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer declines to meet him during a crucial visit. Yunus seeks support to trace billions allegedly looted by the ousted Hasina regime, with key talks expected with BNP's Tariq Rahman. Meanwhile, back home, unrest flares up as a mob vandalizes Rabindranath Tagore's ancestral house, sparking outrage and concern over rising instability.
Bangladesh's interim leader Mohamed Yunus faces a diplomatic blow as UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer declines to meet him during his critical UK visit, though the UK government officials confirmed that there was no plan for Starmer to meet Yunus at present. Mohamed Yunus' visit is aimed at raising support for efforts to recover billions of dollars siphoned off by the deposed regime of Sheikh Hasina, reportedly. As per the reports, Yunus went to UK on Tuesday for a 4-day official visit, where he is likely to meet acting chairman of Bangladesh Nationalist Party Tariq Rahman on Friday. Meanwhile, rising mob violence back home, including attacks on Tagore's ancestral house, deepens the crisis threatening Bangladesh's fragile democratic paths. A minor dispute over parking fees spiraled into unrest in Bangladesh, leading to the shocking vandalism of Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore's ancestral home. The site where Tagore penned parts of several iconic works has now been closed to visitors, marking a troubling blow to both Bengali and universal cultural heritage.
We strongly condemned the vandalization of the ancestral home of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore by a mob. The attack falls in the broad pattern of systematic attempts by extremists to erase the symbols of tolerance and eviscerate the syncretic culture and the cultural legacy of Bangladesh. We urge the interim government to rein in the terrorists and take strict action against the perpetrators to prevent reoccurrence of such incidents that sadly have become a repetitive feature.
With elections set for April 2026, Yunus vows a neutral transition, but rising unrest at home poses a serious challenge to Bangladesh's democratic path. With Bureau Inputs, Rabindra Chauhan's report for DD India.
California will face off with the Trump government in court on Thursday over the deployment of U.S. troops in Los Angeles after demonstrators again took to the streets in major cities to protest President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown. Some 700 U.S. Marines will be on the streets of Los Angeles by Thursday or Friday. The military said to support up to 4,000 National Guard troops in protecting federal property and federal agents, including immigration raids.
Protests in Los Angeles over federal immigration raids have entered a critical phase on Thursday, with the deployment of U.S. Marines on Wednesday and legal battles intensifying between the state of California and the Trump administration. The situation escalated following widespread demonstrations across the United States against the Trump administration's aggressive immigration enforcement measures. The protests, which began in Los Angeles last Friday, have since spread to at least 17 cities, including New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and San Antonio. California state officials challenged President Donald Trump's decision to deploy military forces to Los Angeles in federal court. A federal judge in San Francisco is expected to hear arguments for temporary restraining order. Addressing reporters on Wednesday, President Trump defended the decision, blaming local authorities for failing to control the unrest.
What we have is a situation in Los Angeles that was caused by gross incompetence. They didn't have the police to handle it. The police were asking us to come in. They were very late. We had to go in to save a lot of ICE officers, as you know, who were held up. They were holed up in a building, and they were being attacked. And the military went in, the National Guard went in and got them. The police weren't able, unfortunately, to move fast enough, but we moved fast enough. And while we were there, we stayed there, and we stopped tremendous destruction and death.
Meanwhile, Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hochman has issued a stern warning against violence and unlawful activities during the protest.
The district attorney's office equally will fiercely protect people's rights to peacefully assemble and peacefully engage in First Amendment protected speech. However, when that speech crosses over from protected speech into illegal conduct, the people who engage in that illegal conduct will be prosecuted. They will first be arrested, they will be prosecuted, and they will be punished to the full extent of the law.
Despite a heavy security presence and night curfews, protests continued in downtown Los Angeles on Wednesday night, marking the sixth consecutive day of demonstrations. Amid the escalating situation, India's Ministry of External Affairs has also issued an advisory for Indian nationals residing in Los Angeles and surrounding areas.
We are aware of the developments, and as you are aware, that we take the safety, security and welfare of our citizens abroad with utmost seriousness. The LA region and California in general, it is home to a large community of Indians. We advise all Indian nationals in the region to take suitable safety precautions. Our consulate in San Francisco is closely monitoring the situation and remains in close touch with our community members.
As California's legal challenge proceeds and troop deployments continue, tensions remain high, with authorities and demonstrators bracing for potentially larger confrontations in the days ahead, as protests are expected to peak on Saturday whenever 1,800 anti-Trump rallies are planned nationwide. Nancy Baloda's report for DD India.
The leadership of the Indian Armed Forces have underlined the criticality of intelligence and surveillance capability in modern warfare. At the Surveillance and Electro-Optical Seminar 2025, organized by Center for Air Power Studies, the Chief of Integrated Defense Staff said that Made in India sensors and weapons played a pivotal role in India's Operation Sindoor's success.
Operation Sindoor demonstrated that indigenous innovation, when properly harnessed, can match and even exceed international benchmarks. At the heart of our success was the integrated air command and control system, a testament to Indian engineering excellence and strategic vision. It was also synchronized and integrated with the Indian Army's Akash Tir system, providing a joint and integrated approach to the air defense of the nation. What made ISECS particularly effective was its impact on decision-making speed.
Emphasizing indigenous research, development and manufacturing, India should aim to control its technological destiny, ensuring uninterrupted access to advanced surveillance capabilities which are tailored to specific defense needs under the overall ambit of Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat.
You have a plethora of data coming from various assets, but unless you can analyze it quickly, get out actionable intelligence from it, and thereafter make it available to the end user, that is the most critical aspect, and this cycle has to be shortened. So first and foremost, what it needs is integration of assets. It needs the integration of assets of all the three services. This is something that what we have achieved today with our air defense assets, we need to do the same with our ISR assets.
A National Cadet Corps mountaineering team comprising 5 girls and 5 boys were felicitated by the Deputy Defence Minister Sanjay Seth in New Delhi. The 5 boys and 5 girl cadets were led by Colonel Amit Bisht. The feat marked the 3rd successful Everest expedition by the NCC. The team consisted of Subedar Major Balkar Singh, the first Subedar Major of the Indian Army to summit Mount Everest. The youngest cadet of the team was just 16 years old. You're watching DD India News Hut. Time now for all the sports news. A host of FIFA World Cup winners expressed their views on the upcoming Club World Cup. Players said that the new format of the tournament and the excitement among supporters reminds them of the international version of the competition. Star striker Ousmane Dembele said that the tournament being held in the US just a year before the 2026 World Cup gives the event extra significance. The inaugural 32-team Club World Cup officially begins on Sunday when Inter Miami face Egyptian club Al Ahly.
What's more, it's in the United States, which is a beautiful country. I think this Club World Cup is going to be exceptional, right before the big FIFA World Cup for countries. I think this FIFA Club World Cup is going to be massive and we are looking forward to being there.
Firstly, the fact that it is a World Cup is appealing, and in this format it feels a bit more like a World Cup. In comparison, we had the previous version of the FIFA Club World Cup, which was just a handful of teams. I'm not sure what percentage of European Champions League winners went on to win this tournament, but I think it was quite high as the quality of the other teams is not as high as what you see in Europe. And it feels new. We need to get a feel for the tournament first, but the fact that it will be taking place in the country where the FIFA World Cup will be taking place the following year is obviously very exciting for us.
Poland's manager Michal Probiec resigned from his position on Thursday, 4 days after star striker Robert Lewandowski said he will no longer play for the national team under him. The 36-year-old Barcelona striker said his trust had been betrayed and he was very hurt by the way Probiec told him he was being replaced as team captain. Lewandowski, Poland's record goal scorer, said on Monday that he received a short call from Probiec that a statement about him losing the captaincy appeared soon after on the Polish Football Association's website. Probiec decided to replace Lewandowski as captain with midfielder Piotr Zielinski. The All England Lawn Tennis Club on Thursday increased its prize money for Wimbledon to $72.59 million, which is a 7% increase from 2024. The singles champions will receive $4 million each, an 11.1% increase on the prize money Carlos Alcaraz and Barbara Krejcikova took home last year. Singles players who exit the first round will receive approximately $90,000, a 10% increase on last year. Radha Yadav is set to replace injured Shuchi Upadhyay in Indian women's white ball tour of England. Upadhyay sustained a left shin injury which was diagnosed during the pre-tour camp at the BCCI Centre of Excellence in Bengaluru. Her replacement, Radha, has played 7 ODIs and 84 T20Is. She played her last international match in December 2024, where she picked up 4 wickets against the West Indies. The Indian women's team will lock horns with England women in a white ball series consisting of 5 T20Is and 3 ODIs starting 28th of June. Australian pacer Mitchell Starc added another feather to his cap, becoming the highest wicket taker in ICC tournament finals. The left-arm quick achieved the milestone during the World Test Championship final against South Africa at Lord's. The milestone came in style as Starc struck early in South Africa's second innings on day 1, dismissing Alden Makram for a duck. Starc has now taken 11 wickets across tournament deciders, surpassing India's Mohammad Shami. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and around the world on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.